Marfoogle 2, 3. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. We have an emergency broadcast today. This is huge. We have talked about this over the last few days. Of course, we're going to show you the moments right before and the moments right after Israel has just done their strike against Iran. There are supposed, claims that they took out their whole structure of scientists, that they took out their army leadership, that they took out their army commander, that they took out nuclear sites. This is a massive, massive deal. So first off, this is right before there was, we were about to cover this before this ended up happening. We had this in the news before, I think 4 o'clock or something, our time here Pacific, when everything started coming out. Again, Iran issues a cryptic "We are ready" warning as tensions with the U.S. rise. Iran posts cryptic "We are ready" message as reports suggest possible U.S.-supported Israel strike. Islamic Republic of Iran, in a cryptic post on X, says "We are ready." And of course, comes amid the U.S. intelligence report that Israel has been making preparations for a strike against Iran's nuclear facilities. We all knew that this was a possibility. Of course, they said, oh, well, we won't do it unless the president, Netanyahu says, we won't strike unless we hear from Donald that these negotiations are completely done. Obviously, they, kind of figured something out before Sunday's final round of talks, right? Now, people are saying that we are kind of staying out of this. I just with Syria and with all of these other events, I don't necessarily think so. We definitely knew about it. We removed people out of embassies. We shifted actual defenses from not only Ukraine. We had drone defenses going to Ukraine, shifted them to our U.S. soldiers in the Middle East, knowing that we might get attacked. We have senators right now on the news saying essentially, hey, if you attack America, you're done. So there's a lot to say that they're going to be pissed at us. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough.
Is it the same one? You think you wonder. I said I wonder. Is someone taking over under the golden dome?
All right, fitting song. Hopefully we get that golden dome here pretty soon because we're probably going to need it. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you see covered in the news and you think, I wonder if this is in response to something that we don't even know has happened yet, right? Sometimes you wonder. Now, it is about 5:44 a.m. in the morning in Israel, and there's a lot going on. Of course, there's post after post after post. People are worried in Israel that they are going to have some sort of mass event there with a retaliation. If Iran says that they're ready, and they said it right before, are they ready for a strike? Are they ready for True Promise 3? We are going to see. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Fugle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, Dex, go over the fears of this kind of mass event, and I'll pop you in here.
Well, yeah, certainly. So, there's been discussion today before it popped off, specifically from the U.S. about what they think is going to happen because of the amount of missiles, especially the long-range missiles that Iran has stockpiled. So coming out of the administration, Steve Witkoff privately had warned, Senate Republicans last week that Iran could unleash a mass casualty response against Israel. So, and he said that would happen because it would overwhelm the dome systems that they have, the defense systems, because of the sheer number of missiles that they can launch. So, they estimate that Iran has about 2,000 ballistic missiles with warheads that can carry 2,000 pounds, although they recently just created one that had 4,000-pound warhead on it. So there's a question as to how much of that would they use all at once, and would they use that as a mechanism to overwhelm the dome's ability to take down the missiles. Yeah, obviously, they would probably throw a lot of cheap stuff at it first, drones, everything from the locals and from the cells up north in Lebanon, and maybe even some from Yemen. Having everybody fire stuff at the same time would very much overwhelm it if they then came in with the long range missiles right after it in great numbers.
Yeah, so you're talking about this could very well be a uniter as far as this could bring them all together to try to overwhelm Israel's defenses. Every time that we've seen it before, we always hear that Israel's Iron Dome system, the Arrow, and the David Sling system mostly knock out, a lot of stuff. But this is a massive event. The local videos, and again, we don't know what to believe anymore. I've mentioned this whole last month about Mountainhead, that movie, because that movie really had a concept, that the billionaires are sitting up in some mansion while they release these AI generative effects, and in that movie, essentially they release a AI generator that is so real that people are making fake videos everywhere that are indiscernible from real life. Well, that's pretty much happening. I don't know if you guys have been on X lately, but there are several videos of not only the president, of the vice president, of course, Putin, of other people coming on in an official press conference, and it's like a real press conference video. They've just altered the actual speaking of the president or something else, and they are indiscernible. You can zoom in all around them. You can see, you don't see a single artifact that is AI. And so my point is, wag the dog scenarios where you have like a fake war and things like that. I don't think that this is it. But man, when you have a real event like this, then you could have AI generated videos put out all over social media. Heck, China has cell phone farms that could generate and post tons of videos showing responses. Or what if a fake response then garners a real event, right? In some events, they only have a few minutes to respond. So if something goes out and they think it's about to happen, or if they catch whiff of somebody saying, I am declaring that we're ordering this strike, and then all of a sudden you have the other side get that, and it's secretly given to them, but it's really just an AI video, we have a huge, huge opening for a disaster there. Now, this happened, it struck everywhere. I mean, people said that it was raining missiles just everywhere in Iran. Some of the videos are absolutely shocking. The IDF had, again, also, they're preparing to take out all the nuclear sites, and I don't know exactly what has been taken out here. But, they have more and more updates as the moments are, and actually we have a side panel here telling us some of the updates. So this is massive. Again, they launched preemptive strike on Iranian nuclear sites and military targets. Now, before we move forward, it's more important than anything. We have talked about this affiliate for a very long time because this is one of the most important products that we have ever represented it, especially right now. Make sure to go check out EMP Shield. This is not a time thing. We do this every day. And again, I hope that most of you are getting protection against EMP. Go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP and again, use MARF. This is a device that is not only going to protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, generators against EMP strikes and allow you to get home to your family, but it is also going to protect you against a Carrington-level event from the sun. I'll leave it at that. We're going to make it very short because today is an emergency broadcast. All right, and then we have U.S. is not involved. Dex, do you want to go over how we are not involved?
Yeah. Do you mind jumping back to the other one for just a second? I wanted to make sure we go over all the timing and facts that had happened up until this point, just real quick. I think and make sure we refresh it, because it should, when you load it, refresh. It is that's like one of those live posts from coming directly out of Jerusalem with the latest updates. So
yeah, it was not loading, so I was going to fix that real quick. But go ahead.
Cool.
Now it's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, look, what happened? They sent dozens of aircraft. They've said they hit dozens of military sites. They also have said that it's the initial, that's important, initial wave of strikes. So that means there's going to be more. The IDF has not stopped attacking since the initial wave, so it's been ongoing. I've watched on Twitter, and Adam's seen this on Twitter. We were talking about it earlier, that they said, oh, there goes another round. You can hear another, escalation of explosions happening in Tehran or other locations in Iran. So there's been multiple waves going through. Netanyahu stated that Iran was gearing up to produce tens of thousands of ballistic missiles, so significantly increasing it. They also had made a statement in here about the enrichment. So he said that Iran may be only a few months away from being able to actually make nuclear weapons, not just have enough uranium. They said they already have enough uranium, or they already have that. They just needed the finish off the capability of building it. So and then the fact that they were not just targeting the nuclear sites, while it was the primary destination, they were also going after the military leadership and the missile systems that they have. So the IDF had confirmed that the reason for the attacks to prevent Iran from attaining nuclear weapons. That's the number one priority, in addition to the rest. So that's the latest, or at least what's been said directly from the prime minister, directly from the head of the IDF, directly publicly about the conflict. And then we can move on to the other stuff.
And again, things are changing, like as the moments are going past. I mean, you have a lot to say that there are now missiles flying both ways. As this progresses, you're going to see a massive wave going from Iran to other places too, because they were ready for this. They knew that this was going to happen. Do you think, like, we knew at the show the last 3 days this was going to happen? I mean, they obviously knew. So they were most likely preparing a strike, but against who? And that is the next piece here. Like, how involved was the U.S. in this? How much do we have to worry about a response to us, right? So this was actually a post, and let me pull it up full screen. Statement from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Tonight, Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in the strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear. Iran should not target U.S. interests or personnel. So when they say that the president took and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces, they knew, they absolutely knew days ago. So, that in itself, I mean, obviously we knew about this. Dex, when they shifted, and we said
we knew about it a month ago.
Yeah.
We knew about it a month ago because he told them don't do it. He even publicly came out and said, I talked them off. I told them not to launch, and Israel didn't launch. And he told them last week, don't launch. I'm still negotiating. Stop. Don't do it. I don't want you to do this. So he knew it was coming.
But he also let them surprise. He also let them surprise attack it because, of course, he said publicly, hey, Netanyahu says until we tell him that the negotiation's over, then we are not going to. He said he won't strike. So I mean that can even be involved in this, like.
Yeah, but he also tipped his hat too by pulling out everybody yesterday
and moving drone defenses to the Middle East.
Yeah.
He's protecting our forces right now. He basically knew exactly then. When we covered the drone story, I knew that was, and that was before they did the embassy and pulled all the necessary people out. So
the other thing that was mentioned from the prime minister, the other reason why they said it was necessary, they were operating off of intel, and I'm paraphrasing this, so you'll have to, if it's in one of the links, you guys can go double check it. But they were operating off intel that said Iran was getting ready to strike Israel from all sides.
Video because
meaning,
we are
coming in from Lebanon or Hezbollah, coming in through Iraq, coming in through Yemen, and obviously coming in from these multiple different locations. That was the reason why you even see here in the statement from Rubio saying that they believe they needed to take those steps to protect themselves. And it's a self-defense act because they had intel telling them that was about to happen.
Yeah. So, and the amount of, somebody said that there was over 400 missiles used in just the first 10 minutes. I don't know if that is confirmed. One thing we will find, though, right now is that there is a big preparation now in Iran to strike back. We do know that as this was going on, some of their jets were taking off. They must have been ready. And again, it would be very expensive to keep these things ready at a moment's notice because they had almost just a few minutes to get up their jets and some of their fighter jets in the air, which they did. A lot of people said in the very few minutes after this was that they were headed back to attack Israel. I think that they were up there. They were up there to try to prevent them from being hit. Right? They pulled up all their jets to try to save some of their jets from being destroyed. The massive force that Israel just hit Iran with is great. But at the same time, Iran was preparing for a war with Iran. When you're preparing with Israel, when you're preparing for a war against a country, you have to look at their strengths and go, how are we going to prepare for this and how are we going to counteract this? Well, they have all of their missiles and every kind of nasty weapon they have deep inside in mountains that even bunker busters can't hit. So they still have a ton of things that nobody even knows about. And they've been working directly with Russia. They've been working directly with North Korea, with China. They've been working with Venezuela. They've been working with all these different parties that are all teaming up. I've told people for a long time, you're going to see these events that then cascade. And what is going to happen here is the eventual goal is to get China and Taiwan, Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Iran, Venezuela and Guyana, North Korea and South Korea all going at the same time to split the United States up. And that is when they hit us. Right now, this is the first domino. And we said this is going to be bad. This is not, like when they did True Promise 2 and hit them. This is Israel destroying something that essentially gave them a key to being a superpower. This is a big deal. They just signed treaties with Russia. I mean, they just signed treaties with everyone. Now they have just been completely mauled. It's a big deal. Now, there is evidence that the chief of staff is gone. Dex, do you want to talk about that and what that could mean?
Yeah, certainly. So they were targeting what looked like in some of the footage is apartment buildings, and these were claimed to be locations where the IDF leadership lived. And some of those strikes looked extremely surgical, like it was just one floor, it was just one unit. And others had large chunks hit out of it. So it goes both ways on it. But nonetheless, they have basically said that they have taken out a significant number of leadership there, specifically targeting the chief of staff. So the head of the general staff, the military, senior Iranian nuclear scientists are all been allegedly taken out. They even said that it's being reported that they got Salami, who is the head of, is he the head of the military, I guess? It's his role.
The Revolutionary Guard.
Revolutionary Guard, yeah. And then, which is different than the other guy who's the head of the general staff or the chief of staff. And they had the other guy that was the head of the wing that's responsible for the missiles. So, and obviously going after the nuclear scientists.
So this, and to the fact, God, what a job career, what a bad career to choose, right? Imagine being a scientist and being taken out by a missile. Well, you picked the wrong job there, bud, and you picked the wrong team. And then the IDF statement says, that essentially this came out, and I'm going to just play a small part of this. You guys can watch the rest of this over on the website, marfooglenews.com. And I'll unmute this here.
Called for the destruction of for years, the Iranian regime has called for the destruction of the state of Israel, planning and advancing concrete military plans to do so. Over the past few months, intelligence has shown that Iran is closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Again, this is the IDF spokesperson releasing the statement in English right after the strike.
This morning, the IDF began preemptive and precise strikes targeting the Iranian nuclear program in order to prevent the Iranian regime's ability to build a nuclear bomb.
So that is from the horse's mouth themselves. That is from the IDF that they went after nuclear targets. Now, we all knew that that's what they were going for, but this is a massive deal. This is World War III stuff. We knew this was happening. And again, lots of detractors saying everything's going to be all fine. Everybody thinks that there's going to be peace on Earth. It's going to get bad before it gets better.
In the immediate time frame. We have no choice. We are operating against an imminent and existential threat. We cannot allow the Iranian regime to obtain a nuclear weapon that would be a danger to Israel and the entire world.
So this is something right here that again, we're all watching, and it's something you knew that was going to happen, but when it happens, there's still nothing that can prepare you. There's so many people that are in America that are just trying to grind through life and just make it. And I bet you a ton of people are not even going to know what the hell's going on. They might find out tomorrow, the next day. And believe me, we can't fathom that. All of us watch, the geopolitical situations going around the world every day. But as far as the majority of people that are just trying to survive right now, they don't know anything about this. And that's the craziest part, because there's going to be so many people that are unexpecting and not suspecting of any kind of big event happening here. Just because the U.S. says that we are not involved does not mean that they do not blame us. We have been a part of every kind of operation that has preceded this, and if Israel is set up right now because of this, it is because of their partnership with the U.S. That's how they see it. Dex, go ahead.
Well, yeah, and let's not forget that Israel has funded a lot of T groups which operate in cells, and we know that there's a significant number that have potentially penetrated our border and have been lying dormant in our country. It is not unfathomable for an event like this to be an opportunity for them to activate that. It's also, makes a lot of sense why you think that you would think that our president has been trying to get a lot of troops activated. Obviously, under one position in California is related to the ICE stuff, but also saying, as we reported yesterday, potentially getting another 20,000 troops geared up under the guise of that. But I just wonder if there's not something bigger brewing, and they're worried about potentially a big event happening, or maybe an FF type event happening and blaming it on them. So
yeah, they're saying that
happen from either side.
They're saying that these organized events on the 14th are just one thing or the other. But think about this: all of this is happening at the same time. That we're going to be doing our military parade on the 14th, right? This is as all of this is going down, they are planning protests on the 14th in every state, in every place, on islands in the United States, everywhere.
And about an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago, a judge just took back the National Guard from the president and gave it back to Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, he blocked the continuing of the National Guard. So this is something where you could have seen that what if this is connected on the back end? What if the president, from their angle, they're actually releasing, Marines, they're putting Marines, if they actually do put battalions of Marines inside the United States, that is normally because they are protecting against a foreign enemy. And then this happens? I mean, the timing is just, it's insane. Off to work. Love y'all. If it's the end, it's great knowing y'all. Nothing's the end. This is just the start. This is just the start. Josh Williams, thank you so much for gifting a badge. And Jenny Anderson, keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep Adam and Dex and mods. Hey, thank you, Jenny. And of course, Luna Phoenix, welcome. Join the fam. Thank you. And then Josh Williams, thank you for being a member for 5 months. Saturday will be fun. Yeah. I'm hoping that this is not connected. And when we get to that day, you will very likely see one way or the other. Because of that event, because of those protests by No Kings that have been planned, that is why in response they wanted 20,000 more troops on the streets of the country, right? What is about to happen? Sweating Ministries, don't panic, but be prepared. God bless. Be safe this weekend, that if thou shalt confess thou Lord Jesus and shalt believe in thy heart, God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. Sweating, thank you. And I think that everybody right now, it probably needs a higher power. Especially everybody needs to pray that this does not come back and bite us in the butt. Raymond Winans, thank you. And then Tennessee Mountain Girl, hi Adam, Dex, and Fugel fam. Great to be able to be in chat. What a day to be able to come back. Missed you guys. Hope to be there more. Doing a great job. Thank you. And Stephen, thank you. The Baghdad International Airport closed amid regional escalation, so there is no flights departing or arriving. They're completely closing parts of airspace. The chunks are going down, and again, people are following this. If we see more airspace closed out of nowhere, we probably know that something's about to go down. Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, it was funny when this, or ironic, I guess, when we talk about airspace. When this was going down, no one here yet had sent us a link about the flights heading into Israel, literally at the time that the first strikes were going off in Iran. And you could literally click on them and see about 6 or 7 planes that were out over the Mediterranean. If you clicked on them, you would see their destination was like, Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or wherever the other airport is there. But they all had turned back around and they had made a U-turn and they were heading away. Like there was no airspace available in Israel, obviously for good reason at that time. There's a lot of this as it relates to Baghdad. The reason this is important, guys, this is where we have a lot of our troops. I don't know how many hundreds are there, but we do have U.S. troops, obviously, in Baghdad, around that airport, and in other locations throughout the Middle East, Bahrain, and others. So this is important because there's been a lot of rumors that there were explosions going off there, although others have come out and said, no, it was just the jets that were flying and breaking the speed barrier that they were hearing. So it wasn't actually any event happening there yet. But we do know that this is an area that would be targeted from Iran as it relates to retaliation to the U.S. So we'll be monitoring this, but obviously they've closed their airspace given the fact that there's all this escalation going on. And obviously, the reports of the booms, probably the sonic booms from Israeli jets flying, because that would be the direction they'd be heading, is also of concern for them. So yeah, they closed their airspace.
No one here yet. Also, thank you for the time sending there too. Last night was correspondence that this was about to happen. Essentially, that this is it. This is all of these pieces were in play. This was going to happen. This is absolutely going to happen. And then, sure enough, a few hours ago, we all found out it was right. Now, this federal judge, I'm just giving my personal opinion. First of all, I think Newsom has China in his pocket. That's my opinion. I believe that Xing is completely 100% has expanded Newsom's pocketbook. The judge, I think somebody might have got to that judge as well. Think about this. What the president wants, and Newsom is trying to make this about like, oh, well, we don't want you taking people out because we don't believe in taking these folks out and deporting them. But what he's stopping is the National Guard keeping the peace. Now, if these were all peaceful protests, that's one thing. But think about this. Newsom wants the protests to keep going, where these protests are looting and breaking into stores and destroying things and lighting things on fires and people are getting hurt. He's saying no to the National Guard. The National Guard are here for a reason. In every state, they are here to keep the peace during disasters, during things. He is saying get them out of here. So he wants all of this to be going down in his own state. They might make a lot of money in California, but why would you want to waste it on fixing up damage that could have been prevented? I don't understand it. A U.S. district court has granted a restraining order against the president, ruling his federal takeover of California's National Guard illegal. Now, there's a lot of folks, and again, just because they hate the president, anything that the president says to do, they are going to say, we're going to do the opposite. That's not how it should be. Half the president's decisions are from a whole crew of other people, and I'm not even talking about the ones that are all popular faces. Almost all those popular faces that people don't like too, that are his picks, they still have their essentially their consultants and the people underneath them, the same people that really do have the brains and the brawn, and they tell them what to do. So they'll say something that truly is good for the country. We need to do this, this, and this. And because the public figurehead that everybody hates is saying it, the public goes, well, we want the opposite. Well, the opposite is what China wants. The opposite is what Russia wants. The opposite is what, Iran wants. So why are you agreeing with Iran? Why are you agreeing with Russia and China? Because you hate the president? Because you hate his choice of speaker? Because you hate his choice of defense secretary? Yeah, you don't even know who their consultants are. You don't know who is telling them to do this. I mean, we knew the Middle East was going to be lit up on fire. We got, bombers in Diego Garcia. We've got stuff put in place right now. This is go time for, the folks that are not in our country that are closer to this. People are bugging out in these parts of the world. Everybody here says this is so far away, right? This is not going to be far for long. U.S., again, fears Iran's response to Israeli strike would be a mass casualty event. Again, you've got so many kind of pieces to the puzzle here that are happening. I hope that people are prepared. We had a whole list of other kind of smaller stories that are going on around the world. We are going to be covering those tomorrow because the most important thing is this, and really a lot of everything else is irrelevant right now. So I hope that a lot of you tune in tomorrow. We've got a ton of stuff to go over there as well on Friday. Praying for the safety of everyone around the world, including our troops. Our troops just got thrown head fast into a massive event. That's what I believe. They may not know it yet, but this is gonna get bigger. And no matter how many times we say we're not involved, if they destroy a quarter of Israel, do you think we're not backing them up? Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the interesting part is what's going to happen in the coming days. How is the U.S. involvement or lack of involvement going to play out? Look, this is not over. It's not like, oh, we're all going to go to bed, get up tomorrow, and it's going to be over. The strikes were ongoing. It sounds very much like, and it's been reported that Israel has said this is going to be a multi-day event on their part. I don't expect, and most people don't expect Iran, and it doesn't typically work this way. They just respond immediately. It's not like, they were getting invaded and they have to put up a defense line immediately. This is, okay, now they have to respond. So there will be some time. They may do something right away, but I think it's, they have to get past that dome. So there's a tactic they'll use to do that. And I think we'll see that maybe tomorrow, maybe in a couple of days. Who knows how long it will take them to respond. But rest assured, they will. But the other thing to keep in mind is they'll respond in the dark. They always do. Israel launched in the dark. Iran, when they've launched in the past, it's always in the dark. It's now morning there. The first day is in, so you're going to have to wait for, the day to pass. We'll get to that. I think the big question that should worry us here in the U.S. is what ramifications do we have here on our homeland? And what do we need to do to be vigilant and be have a heightened level of security for our loved ones and our friends and family around us so that we are prepared for something that may happen here. I think that's probably the most concerning thing for everybody here in America that's listening to this show. For those of you in other countries, you got other issues too, or other ways to think of that, and you should be. But I also question, how will the U.S. get involved? And the more we get involved, the more chance that we have of seeing some sort of event here on our homeland.
All right, and then there's a lot coming out about Iran responding already. It's very hard to respond like this that fast, at least. So we will actually see, what ends up happening. We will cover any breaking news. I wanted to point this out. This was a post by Syrian Girl. And my point is there's a lot of posts just like this. Gosh, okay there, bud. There's a lot of posts just like this that you essentially see the response to this is everybody is saying, look at this. Let's see here. There's so many pro-Iranian responses to this. I mean, it's almost ratioed, right? It's insane. The first 3 hours are just all, Iran is going to wipe them like a mop. Good luck, Israel. Now you're done for. Houthis must join in immediately. The bullies must be destroyed once and for all. This has united people in many, many countries that were pro-Iran. Now they're just, this is going to be crazy. So this is something that it's going to get big over the weekend. I think that by Monday we will really see a huge escalation happen. All right, you guys, I hope that all of you have a wonderful night. And sorry, guys. My giant, massive cat, he's 28 pounds, muscle, just got all up on my stuff. Okay, so I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Join us tomorrow. We're going to go over the rest of the news, and there will be no Shoutra tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody. Miss Dragon, pray for the innocent. Yes. Again, I appreciate all of you guys. Dex, thank you for your service tonight. I appreciate you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
And again, I hope everybody has supplies. Make sure to go check out all of our affiliates. Our affiliates are actual ads that, nobody likes ads. But these are affiliates we believe will save lives. In the case of, again, our prep, again, My Patriot Supply is a really, really good, affordable way to get bulk food. So go over and check them out, marfooglenews.com/prep. Again, they have awesome stuff. So again, marfooglenews.com/prep. It helps support our independent channel. At the same time, it gets you prepped up with food. For disasters, for earthquakes, whatever it may be, the world does not have to end for you to get prepared. And hopefully, people will heed that advice. All right, you guys, God bless. I'm praying for the safety of all. In Jesus' name, amen. Have a good night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
I said I wonder, is someone taking over under the golden dome? Wonder, the flag above ya, is it the same one you think you under?